Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Namaste experience here at Namaste Village this beautiful Tuesday morning. I don't know if we're going to get a respite from the heat today or not, but it sure is starting off nice. Whatever. It doesn't matter. So what? None of it matters how hot it is, how cold it is, how bright it is, how sunny. Oh my goodness gracious. We pick so many things to say, well, if this or that or something else. And none of it matters because we're here right now. We're here right now in this moment, ready to step forward, to be the light of the world. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, that's all you need. That's all you need to say is, yes, I'm ready. Instead of, well, one day, at some point, I'm sure there are a few more things I have to do or stuff I need. No, you're ready right now. And it's the proclamation of that and the uncompromised acceptance of that that initiates this flow of light that is unlike anything of this world. You've often heard me say that when you are as uncompromising with the truth as the truth is uncompromising with me, with you, you will know everything. Everything that there is to actually know, which is there actually just a few things. It's not much, and yet it's everything. Isn't that interesting? It's not much because it can't be quantified. You can't say, well, there are 5,200,323 things for you to know. It's only one thing for you to know. You're one with all there is, and nothing else matters. If we can just keep dissolving all of those other millions and trillions of other things that we think that we need to know into that one thing, and to be uncompromising with that, to share only that, to give it away at every opportunity. Ooh. So before we get going, why don't you say hello and say a few words?
Good morning, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here in a day-to-day way, not for a special event, but in a day-to-day way, and to look around and see the light of God in every face, but in everything, the flowers that are here and smell them. Some of you know about the auroras that are in the sky, cascading light pictures and light showers everywhere, all in Boston. In Maine, did you know about this? All my auroras everywhere.
Aurora Borealis?
Everywhere.
Wow.
See, to me, that's that feminine energy just spilling out of the sky. When we start to look for it everywhere, you don't want to be anywhere else. You want to see it everywhere, and it starts showing up. So, and then you know what I realized too, as you were speaking, we're really free. If we have nothing but love, and love is only right now, then there's no worry about plans or what happened yesterday. We're free to find out what would love express as, how would it breathe this moment, how would it look this moment. It's what freedom is, and I love being free. So all the old ideas of responsibilities and commitment, it's so much easier to be committed and responsible only to love and to joy without opposite. It's a much easier program. It just leaves you right here, right now, only love, only God, only now. So that's what I have to say.
Good beginning. Good beginning. So once again, to be uncompromising with everything that you're hearing here. Uncompromising means there are no exceptions to. There are no exceptions to love. You may make them up in your mind like a child would make up all sorts of things in order to play with what is right in front of them or to play with reality. But only love is real, and there is no compromise to that. And so the key to stepping into this transformation is that uncompromising attitude. No matter what, only love is real. So I want to share something that came through, and I love that the first line, that the first thing that this says is this. Well, it's so obvious, first of all, and yet this obvious truth, we we don't realize is as obvious as it really is. We just sort of, oh, okay, whatever. But if you fully get this one line, then the whole thing is done. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Here it is. Everything is happening right now, or it's not happening at all. That's kind of obvious, isn't it? It's happening right now, or it's not happening. But in our perceptual mind, we're constantly trying to make the past happen now, or the future happen now, by thinking, worrying, all of these things that we do to try and somehow stay away from right now. Because if you hold still in the right now, guess what happens? Everything. Everything begins to happen. You find yourself just being buoyed in grace, being lifted by the spirit of the real and the love that is within us in every moment. If we hold still in the now. But that one line, everything is happening right now, or it's not happening at all. That's what we need to be uncompromising with. So let me continue. This is all you need to know. Your past and future associations are all in your mind, but they are not in the mind of God. And what is not in the mind of God isn't real. Okay, I'm going to pause right there, because sometimes we have statements like, is not in the mind of God. What is not in the mind of God is not real. As if there is a God. Or as if there is one outside of you, that does something or knows something that you do not know. And as you've said, as we've shared before, a lot of this journey is dissolving even the idea of a God. Okay? Instead of, it's all that. That's all there is. On Sunday at St. Andrew's, I was chatting after service with our retired priest, and he said, you know, no one seems to realize that we're breaking the 10th command, the second commandment, not to make graven images of anything, that we're breaking it all the time with our ideas of God. Our ideas of God are the graven images that need to be broken. Because until we break down, like if we had a graven image of God, what would it look like? It might look like an old man, it might look like a divine mother, it might look like a lot of things. But it's none of those things, and it's all of those things at the same time. So, but to claim, well, it's this is what God is. This is what God looks like. You know, I was showing a few people last night at dinner a little cartoon that I have on my phone. Prem, if you're out there, Prem is constantly sending us these fun cartoons. And it showed Jesus sitting around with a whole bunch of people. He's talking to them. And he said, so there I was, the only white guy in Jerusalem. We make Jesus a white guy. He was not a white guy. He was not a Caucasian European. He was as dark as, if he looked like anyone, he looked like Vicky, because he was Lebanese. I mean, she's Lebanese.
Brown.
Well, 100%, right?
100%.
So we make these images of Jesus, of God, of Mary, of whoever it may be, of Krishna. None of it matters, but none of those images are so. The only thing that is so is love. If we just stick with that, this gets very easy. Let me start at the beginning here. Everything is happening right now, or it's not happening at all, and that's all you need to know. Your past and future associations are all in your mind, but they're not in the mind of all that is. We'll say that instead of God. And what is not in the mind of all that is not. If you could spring into that experience, spring into the experience of now, then you'd have no further need of this world. If you could live wholly and completely in now, this moment, this love, this reality, then you would no longer need the world of perception. It doesn't necessarily mean that you would be gone or just disappear. Maybe it would, I don't know. But it would mean for sure that you would just rest in love itself. And you would radiate only that. That's it. You would have no further need of this world. The only thing, and here we go, the only thing that's keeping you from this is your fear of meeting God, or that your fear of meeting God, this idea of God that you have, will be traumatic. You still, all of us, this is what perception is. This is like the oil that keeps the mechanism going. The idea that meeting God will be traumatic, because at the base of who we think we are, there is still this feeling of, I did something to land here in this prison, in this insane asylum. I don't know what it is, but I certainly did something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Now, this is not conscious unless it is. It's becoming conscious. And when it becomes conscious, that's when you can deal with it and let it go. But until now, it's been unconscious. You don't realize that you think that meeting God will be traumatic because of something inside you. We'll use the G word, guilt. There's something for you to be guilty of. So you're afraid of God. So let's just look at that for a minute. It's the not looking that keeps you out of heaven. Think about that for a moment. It's the not looking at that idea that you're afraid of God. That's the one thing you're afraid of. The only thing you're afraid of is your idea of God. It's the not looking at that keeps that wheel spinning. The instant you look at it, really look at it. Some of you will know this story. The beard comes down and you realize it's just daddy. The Santa Claus beard comes down. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just daddy. It's just mommy. It's just love. But until that moment, that fear lurks in the back. Now, we may say, and we will say, oh, are you crazy? I'm not afraid of God. That's the only thing I want. Bullshit. That's what you think. That's what you've been telling yourself until you have that face to face. And then this ancient fear surfaces at last. Yes, finally. Wouldn't you agree? Finally, there it is. Now I can do something with it. I can let it dissolve. Okay, I'm going too slow. Let me move through this. The instant you have the courage to see what God is, you'll realize that God, or otherwise known as uncompromised love, is the only thing that you really want. But as it says here, you have to have the courage to look. God will never traumatize you, but you will traumatize yourself, and you have, over and over, until you realize that you can stop anytime. Anytime you want, you can stop traumatizing yourself with this ancient fear, this ancient guilt that lingers in the background, just waiting for you to come close enough to love, close enough to the divine for it to spring into action. So let it spring into action and then laugh at it. Ha, you thought you had me this time. You thought you had me. There comes a moment in the release of all desires but one, the release of all desires but one, that every traumatizing image that you've ever held in your mind dissolves and you're released from your own tyranny. No one is terrifying you. There's no tyranny outside of you. You're the source of it all. There's no God outside of you. The whole thing is within you. In that moment, you'll realize with great exaltation and release that all those dark images you thought you perceived were just in your own mind, and the mind of God or the mind of love was never beyond your reach. This is how simple it is. It comes back to that first sentence. Everything is happening right now, or it ain't happening at all. So just stay here right now. Let the rest of it dissolve. You don't need to do anything with it. You don't need to figure anything out. All you need to do is love. So Vicky, where do you want to take us now?
Well, I take us right back to here and now. And for me, the terror of God wasn't something so conscious. Even as a kid, I thought I loved God. But the way it seems to show up is terror of my brother. If I want to look for where am I afraid of God, look at who I hesitate or pull away from in a brother, any brother. And when I want to know God, that's the end of it. I'm going to love every brother, every sister, every rock, every tree. I'm going to open to that presence. And if it scares the bejeebus out of me, so what? It's like, okie dokie, so what? I'm willing.
Hey, I just realized something. Scare the bejesus, be Jesus.
Be
Scare the
Jesus.
bejesus. That's like, oh, wow, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the word was. I knew it was something about being something. Geez. I'm an impressionist, you know. And I get the impression if love is the only reality, and to me, I take it to the next step. A couple of years ago, some of you know, at New Year's Eve, I had this invitation in my heart to take this promise that I would live in joy without opposite. And I thought, whoa, I don't know about that. I can love, but joy without opposite. But being willing, like what you said, James, in the beginning, just say yes. Just say yes. Okay, I'll take it. Because what is love except when we look in each other's eyes, it's that feeling of joy. It makes me cry all the time. It's been a week of me just crying, looking at everybody. And not even guys that say these things or think these things. It doesn't matter. Wherever we are, the gas station attendant, the woman in the market, someone helping us clean or do something, it's everywhere. And that's what we're getting. It's in the aurora, the lights falling out of the skies. What a time this is. What a symbol. You know, scientists will give you all sorts of explanations that there are coronas and there's all kinds of reasons. But there's only one reason. Love is exploding all around us because this is the time of our realization of our holiness. Everyone, everywhere. And whether they call it that or think of it as spiritual or not is irrelevant because it is the time of love and it is at hand. And all we have to do is drop the past, forget about the future, and be like a kid. Just play right now in this field of love because it is a field of joy without opposite. It's an all-encompassing field. And I looked down and I was smelling them. I didn't see them here. I'm smelling, I'm thinking, oh gosh, flowers are everywhere. And then there they are. Because love is everywhere. We just have to start looking for it. And then it's not about concepts or somebody's ideas or not. It's about being present and enjoying the love that's always loving us. You know, when James says we're afraid to let love love us, well, it only can happen right now. So when we're just here now, today's lesson was a good one. If I defend myself, I'm attacked. And one of the best ways we defend ourselves is we make plans. I'll take care of this, I'll take care of that, then I'll do this. Even me, I'm making dinner tonight here. Jet's letting me in his kitchen and I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna learn? How am I gonna figure out that oven? Or who's gonna help me do this? Of course, I have help all around me, my angels, but just the idea, not in the present, that's a defense against God's plan because God's plan is only love, only God, only now. So I drop it, but I don't get mad. I just, oh, right, oops, it just come right back to right now. And when I came back to right now, I could smell the flowers right here. Elaine brought on her way here. I could smell like, oh my gosh, the flowers, the stars, the lights cascading out of the sky, the birds. There were two beautiful black birds at my door this morning. And, you know, I'm trying to talk to the birds and the bees. Oh, so this was a good example. One of the girls yesterday in our conference call, she sings with a madrigal choir. So she's singing I think it was Sunday or this weekend, and they're doing a wonderful concert. But there was a light on them, you know, like the spotlight, the stage lights. And for the first time, usually they see everyone and sing to their audience. She said, we couldn't see anyone. It was just black. And you must know this experience. So she's saying it was kind of odd just singing to no one. She said, but that's all right, because we realized we got to still sing with all our hearts. But she said it was like a heavenly surprise when they turned the lights on and there were all the people. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's what it's like. It's like I'm singing to the angels and the trees, and I say, I know that I can't hear you, but I know you're singing anyway. I know you're there. And one day, it's like I'm singing and it's all black out there because the spotlight of perception is in my eyes, and I'm admitting it, it's there, but I just say, so what? I know you're singing, and one day, and that's what happens in instants, what Jesus calls a holy instant. All of a sudden, the lights go out and we can see all the beings, the creatures, the love that's always there.
Yeah. I love that image of being on a stage with bright lights. Any performer knows that when the stage lights are on, you can't see anybody. And as you were speaking, Vicki, a song came into my head that I'm sure some of you know. It's a Bruce Springsteen song, but it was made famous by Manfred Mann. Blinded by the light. And these are the first words: blinded by the light, wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Wow.
Listen to that. Now I'm blinded by the light. I can't see anything outside the light. I'm wrapped up in that experience of deuce two, no longer a runner in the night. Blinded by the light. Remember that song? And here, the other thing that came, if you want to see a very practical example of the release of two and the full focus on one, because that's all we're doing. We're releasing the idea of two or 2 trillion or whatever it may be, so that we can see only the one. So here's what I want you to do. Take one finger, like your index finger, and put it about a foot in front of you and look at it. How many fingers do you see? Only one, right? Now I'm going to show you what the separation is. Look through your finger, keeping the finger right where it is, but look to something in the distance. How many fingers do you see now? 2. Okay, now let me show you what the atonement is. Bring your focus back to 1. The 2 was never there. It disappears on its own. It was simply your decision to see what is reality, to see the 1. And then you're blinded by the light. Nothing else exists but that holy radiation of love, which I am, which you are. The only thing that is real. So let yourself be blinded by that bright light today. And to this we say, Amen, 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 y punto. Thank you, everyone. We love you so much. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.